stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, as far as, you can take attendance, I guess.
Oh, there, Mark's in.
Oh, we got you, Mark?
There he is.
All right, I'll hang on.
There we go. Perfect.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Okay, attendance, Cronin,
Here.
Colden,
Here.
Langenhahn is absent and excused. Excuse me, Maloney,
He's there.
okay, and Opal.
Mark, can you hear us? Are we muted?
No.
He is, though.
Mark, can you hear us?
Obviously not.
Andy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Mark, can you hear us? No? He must have us muted.
I wonder if he's got speakers turned on.
Yeah, maybe he's got speakers turned on or something.
Are you sending a message? Okay.
All right, I don't think you finished attendance yet. Did you?
Yes, I did.
Yep.
Did I say here?
Yep.
Did I?
Yeah,
Well, soon I forget. All right, correspondence and comments from the public. Is there anybody online that would like to address the board? All right, hearing none. Consent items.
He hung up.
Approval of prior meeting minutes of October 8th, 2025 and November 3rd, 2025.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Approval of expenditures and receipts, October,
Yes.
November, December.
Can you hear us, Mark?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, all right.
Perfect.
We-
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We just finished up with C5 if you want to take over, Mark.
No, that's okay, Al.
All right.
Thank you.
Business items, discussion and possible action on 2026 Safer Board of Directors meeting schedule.
I was asked to put this on. If the board would like to set a schedule for, the request I had was for the year. I don't know if you guys want to do it for the year or do it for 6 months or a quarter. Obviously, that's up to the board, but it's up for your discussion.
Well, we've always depended on the second Tuesday, and there's always been some flex in that. So even if you set it up for the year, isn't there also going to have to be some flex in that also, I'm sure? So I guess my question would be,
Yeah.
It's really
is
up to
there
you
a real
guys.
point, a real solid point to this, or?
I'll leave that up to the board to discuss. I think Eric and I and Cher and Callie try to always have the second Tuesday available. I know in my personal calendar, I can always have that night blocked off.
Unless you want it on a different day, you know.
For me, it doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
I guess the reason I asked for this to get brought up was because we did have a couple instances this last year that we struggled getting a quorum.
We
for
did.
some meetings. So
Yeah, sure. We did.
I figured if everybody if we had a calendar and it was done at the beginning of the year, then everybody could plan for the meetings throughout the entire year.
Yeah, we could set it up probably for the second Tuesday of every month, and we can flex from there.
I agree.
Okay.
Do we need an action on that, or?
Well, it says possible action, so you may as well make the motion. Someone may as well make it.
Is there an actual, was there something in the packet, or
No.
just discussion?
Just discussion.
Okay.
I don't even, is there anything in the charter?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't recall.
It just says that we have to have, and I'd have to go back and look, but there's something in there about the frequency of which the meetings have to happen, and I think it's really low. It's like 2 per year or something like that. It's a really
Okay.
small one.
All right.
I'll make a motion to hold the meeting on the second Tuesday of the month at 5:30 at Station 1 for the calendar year of 2026.
All right. Yeah, it'd be nice to have it on papers. Okay, so it's been moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
See if there's any holidays.
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't know, of course,
Motion
since
carries.
but we can-
D7, discussion and possible action on purchase of Zoll cardiac monitor.
Okay, in full disclosure, this device is already here and in service. I spoke with Mr. Maloney about this before it was purchased because as we have staffing on the engine over here now, at least some of the times. That engine is now responding as an ALS equipped engine to provide patient care, and as part of providing patient care, we need a cardiac monitor on there. So we purchased a used Zoll monitor, which saved us about $11,000. It's refurbished, it's factory tested, all that good stuff. They actually sent this to by mistake, but we're too honest and we called them back. And Callie spent a long time on the phone with them yesterday convincing them they actually sent us to. Like, we almost had to force them to take the other one back. So this device is here. The funds for that are being used as FAP money, this is one of the things, that FAP money financial assistance program we get from the state of Wisconsin every year. That dollar amount has gone up significantly. This year we got right around $95,000. Last year it was about $107,000. And we can't use that money for things like wages and the electricity bill and things like that. It has to be used for training is a big thing that we use it for, and then we can use it for what are called unbudgeted, unexpected expenses for support and improvement, and this fits that bill. So we used money out of the FAP fund to purchase that monitor.
Is it FAT or?
FAP, F-A-P, Financial Assistance Program. Yep.
Very original.
So it was not, I mean, we didn't have one of those prior, obviously, and is that a new requirement to have
Yep.
one of these on the?
So yeah, we have them on the ambulances now, and we have one on the rescue truck in Weston because that's been responding to medical calls for 2 years. Is it
2 years
now?
at least.
So now that this engine will also be responding to medical calls, and it has, we have medications and other paramedic supplies in there. We need to be able to do cardiac monitoring and defibrillation in the event of a cardiac arrest.
It corresponds with the increase in staffing this year. So now we have increase in staffing. We have people here. We roll that engine out with staff that are, they're staffing the engine for fire response, but they're first responding with the engine until the ambulance gets over there from either Weston, or if they're out, then we get an ambulance from Wausau or Riverside.
Yes.
But we get that point of care as quickly as the taxpayers expect,
So
I would say.
in years past, if there was a patient that went into cardiac arrest, let's say back here on Rose Avenue, and the ambulance is out, they're not getting anything until the ambulance comes here from Weston. If that same call happens tonight, you guys have 4 on duty today over here, right, Glenn?
Yeah.
If that same call happens tonight and this ambulance is out, the engine will respond, and they have all the same, 95% of the same equipment in the engine that they have on the ambulances, so they can provide that paramedic level of care within 4 minutes instead of 12 that it would take for the ambulance to get here. So that's the idea, is they're getting that paramedic level of care much faster.
Just out of curiosity, what was the cost of that thing?
$24,892. A new one is about $36,000.
So that leaves us 70 grand for the rest of the year then? for
No,
the
we
random
we
stuff, or what?
so we escrow in that account. So we had quite a bit of money left over from last year. There's approximately 95. Whatever. There's about $118,000 in there right now.
Does that show up on our book somewhere?
Yeah, there's a separate account for it. I take that back. That would be more of a Jessica question. But we actually have a separate account at People's Bank that is for the FAP money. So it's actually at the bank. It's in a separate account.
It's on the budget report. It's
Page 4.
yeah, it's
Is it-
392. It's budget 392. Well, no, that's
It's not
FAP
392.
support, sorry.
So we have 118,000
The next
left
one.
after we paid for this?
No, it'll be 118,000, then this will come out of there.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
I said that wrong.
And does the 118 include
This
this
year's.
year's contribution?
yes, because we
Okay.
got paid early this year. Typically, we didn't get it until March, but we got it, what, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, December.
And like
Is
the,
that identified in the budget then, or? have you-
Yes.
Do you have it as a line item?
Yes, it is in the budget.
yeah,
Of
it
revenue?
is.
Yes, this is the first year, so 2026 is the first year that it's been put in as a separate revenue line item in the budget.
Very good.
We hadn't done that in the past, but this year we did. Is that the 26 budget, though? That's 25.
Yeah, that's-
So it's not gonna,
sorry.
it's not gonna be on the 25 budget that's in your packet. But Jessica did put it as a separate line in the 2026 budget.
And like the chief said, the majority of that is spent on training. We have 10 people we're putting through paramedic class. So we're going to spend about 65,000 of that on paramedic class
Yeah, we'll
for
spend,
internal employees.
and that money is a little off topic here, but that
Yeah.
money that we spend on our internal employees is protected. So a paramedic class is
Yeah.
approximately $8,000. If we spend $8,000 and put them through paramedic class, and 2 weeks after they finish paramedic, they say, I'm out of here, I'm going to work in Wisconsin Rapids, now they have to pay us back. They all sign contracts, so.
Okay.
If they pay us back, it goes right back into the FAP account.
Correct.
So,
All right, well, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the Zoll cardiac monitor.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 9, discussion and action on, no, wait.
8.
8, discussion and possible action on Task Force 1 membership.
Okay, I'll give you a little background on what Task Force 1 is first. So Task Force 1 is based out of Oakfield. Traditionally, it's been made up of mostly members of larger departments across the state. Madison, Milwaukee, Appleton, Oshkosh, Eau Claire. There's been some scattered guys, like there was a couple guys in Anago that were on it for a while and things like that. But traditionally, it was larger departments. They've opened that up as they expanded their team over the past several years, and they've been accepting from other departments as well now across the state. And Task Force 1 responds all over the country, usually to large-scale disasters, hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes, those types of things. And they're specialized in disciplines like swiftwater rescue, high-angle rescue, trench rescue, collapse rescue. So when they opened this up several months ago, we applied that we would have we had internal interest in it. So I applied stating that we would like to have 2 spots on the team. We were initially denied, but about, actually it was on December 5th that we were told that there is a spot, one of our 2 requested spots opened up. So by seniority, we rewarded that to an individual in the department. The reason it's coming to the board is the way that it works is, let's say there's a deployment to Louisiana for a week because of a hurricane, okay? And one of our guys gets deployed. That individual will be in Louisiana for a week, and they are being paid by SAFER while they're in Louisiana, and then we are going to have to pay somebody to backfill that position. However, we submit paperwork that shows how much we paid for our backfill and for that individual's wages while they're gone, and WEM, Wisconsin Emergency Management, back pays us through the state budget for that position. And they also pay, was it 50 or 55 an hour for training?
50.
They also pay because the individuals have to go to training at Volk Field. So when they're gone for training, we are refunded $50 an hour for that individual to be down there. So it's a little bit of extra paperwork on our end because we're going to pay them, and then we have to submit paperwork to the state to get reimbursed that money. Fire departments have been doing it for a long time. Like I said, Oshkosh, Appleton, Wausau had one person on. I don't know if they still do
They
or
had
not.
3 at one point.
So it's not a new thing. It's been going on for years. We just, like I said, it traditionally wasn't open to smaller departments. The big benefit for us is the training that they will get that could be brought back to us then is paid for by the state. You know, those are traditionally pretty expensive classes to go to. So ropes 1, ropes 2, confined space, collapse rescue, and trench rescue. get to be pretty expensive if we want to send people to that training. We don't have to pay for any of those expenses anymore because it's paid through for WEM. So then those individuals can bring that training back here. We don't do trench and claps. I mean, it's not bad to have an awareness level if they bring that back to us. But we don't have the equipment to do it, and quite frankly, we just don't have the manpower. Those are big city things. That's a Milwaukee thing. We just don't have the stuff to do that with. But obviously, tech rescue, confined space are important for us. We're working on swift rescue stuff. So those three disciplines are important for us. We actually have a pretty large risk factor for confined space. We don't get called very infrequently, but Crystal Finishing has a lot of confined space. Metro Sewage counts on us for confined space. And then Imperial Industries, which is out of our area, but we did joint training with Riverside because Riverside doesn't do confined space at all. And the paper mill in Mosinee we're also on call for them if they have a confined space issue because Mosinee Fire doesn't do confined space.
We were just at Laser.
Applied Laser.
Applied Laser, they have confined space. Like most industry has confined space of some sort.
So it brings a lot back to the department. Like I said, there's extra paperwork that myself, Eric, and Cheryl need to do when those deployments happen, which obviously are fairly rare. But the net cost to the district will be zero at the end of the day. It'll just be a circle of money. We'll pay it out, they'll pay us back.
I know we had confined space down at Marathon Park also in the county. And forget what year it was, but there were 3 city workers that lost their lives in confined space.
Yeah, private contractors, actually. It was in a city sewer, but they were private contractors.
Oh, they were?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there were firefighters hurt in that incident
Yep.
as well.
Trying to do the rescue, yeah.
And historically speaking, Chief Savage was on which team? DMAT?
Yep.
So DMAT's another one of these deployable teams. He went down to Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina, and he was down there for 4 or 5 days. So that it's not, I mean, as a department, we have supported these types of teams.
And young firefighters like to be on these. I think Glenn doesn't Stevens Point have people on Task Force 1, do you know? Or did they at least?
They used to, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a new thing, like I said. But when I've been working with WEM, they asked that I get approval from the board, and I asked them what form they would like that in. I said, if we put it in meeting minutes, is that fine? He said, that's what a lot of places do. So that's why it's on the agenda.
All right. So what's your pleasure, gentlemen?
I'll make them member the task force 1.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item number 9, discussion and possible action on the addition of 6 full-time firefighters starting July 1, 2027.
Jamie, I don't know, do you want to speak to this?
We had added it because the resolution for referendum will go Monday to the Village of Weston. It is on the agenda twice, both for 600,000 and for 300,000. 600,000 adding the 6 mid-year, 300,000 would do 3 this next year, and then we would have to discuss what would happen the year after that. It's a conversation with the Weston board because we may also have a TIF closure that happens in between that time. We're not sure on that yet until we have final invoices come in. But Rib Mountain met, they made a motion in support of the 6 mid-year. I think it's also important that Safer Board would have a similar motion and something on record. So when we go out with the education for the referendum, we would say that this is being advocated both by the Safer Board and by both municipalities.
They actually said both in the motion. So they said either 6 or 3.
So that's what the referendum will be asking, 6 or 3? They have their choice? Or?
No, they won't have their choice. It's just, I have a resolution both for the 600,000 and for the 300, and the board can make the determination if they would like, which one they would like to select.
Yeah, we haven't.
And would that be spring ballot?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Binding, non-binding?
Binding.
It's binding, but it's binding. Yeah.
Okay, all right, just gotta ask that. All right. Okay. So I have to ask too, with the election coming up, new board members, does that have a possibility of changing any balance on the Weston board?
We'll have to see.
If
Pardon?
it does or doesn't, I think that was one of the pieces going for referendum, because it's a vote of the entire municipality.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the addition of 6 full-time firefighters starting July 1st, 2027.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I'm still not sold on 6.
Pardon?
I'm not sold on 6. I just, I don't know, it's an awful lot of staff to add. I think the percentage increase is big. I don't know. And I don't know what the goal is from a service level. You know, we're maintaining a 93% service level in calls. And I don't know what adding 9 more people is gonna, I mean, what's the goal to, I mean, I get part of it, but on the other end of it, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just not sold. But that's me.
Okay. I too have a little bit of a question, but I don't know if my question is big, if I'm concerned enough. But I echo pretty much what Aaron had to say.
It's a big percentage increase in staffing. You know, you're going from, you're adding 10 to, you know, a third, 33% increase. It's a large commitment from a dollar standpoint as a taxpayer.
That's pretty much my concern also, how our taxpayer. Of course, we just voted to support the concept, so,
I know you guys did.
yeah.
Was that unanimous as well?
It was.
Yeah,
was.
yes, it was.
It was.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah, we've also had a number of folks in this room echoing similar concerns over the last couple of years.
Okay.
So,
I mean, you know, we add 3. Yep, I want to see how the 3 works out. Do we add 3 again the following year? See how that works out. Add 3 again. But to commit to 6, I don't know. I'm just not.
I kind of like the idea of 3, well, the 3 we have now, and then, 327, 328, and again, to see how.
And if we find out that 6 works, do we need to add the additional 3? I don't know. I'm not in your guys' shoes. I have to trust what you guys tell us, but on the other end of it, there's some. I mean, I struggle. I'm like, what is? We're not going to reduce our overtime expense because you said everybody gets automatically get overtime. Everybody's just going to mandatory overtime. So you're adding that expense. We have apparatus that are inoperable or not usable because we don't have enough staff, right?
As of today, we
As of
Yeah.
today, but
Which
we're
this
adding-
would fix. Adding the
Fix.
6 would mean those apparatus are staffed.
Right, but what about adding 6, the 3 and the 3? Does that staff it?
That's what we're.
Yeah, that's
so
what
I
we're
want to make
asking
sure.
for.
I want to make sure we're on the same page because you said adding 6 and then another 3.
We have the 3 that we just got now, right?
That started the first of the year.
Yep,
Yes.
and we add another 3 next year. That's 6 people we'd be adding. You're looking at adding 9 in 2027. I mean 6 in 2027. That's a total of 9 people.
Yeah, the background came in because it was suggested, because we've done that in the past at the Village of Red Mountain, is we've done staff like mid-year, and I think Trustee Schaefer's the one that brought it up as a suggestion, is like, if the end goal
Yeah.
is to get eventually 9 total, he had suggested, instead of doing 3 and 3, you could even go 6 July 1st of 27. So that's where the background's coming from.
Correct. Keep in-
Versus, but I think the way the motion was either one, the village board was supportive. I'm sorry, I have no access to internet, so
And just,
I can't bring up the minutes, but I think that's what was said.
I mean, keep in mind, when we say 6, that's only 2 per day. Because it's, it's 24-hour shift, or it's 48-hour shift, it's only 2 per day. So when we're talking about staffing a truck, we're minimally staffing trucks. I mean, 2 people, NFPA says you should have 4 people on a truck, and we're putting 2 people on a truck. And there are, I mean, we can pull the data and statistics that show how much less dangerous it is to the public and to the firefighters if you have 4 people on an engine compared to 2. We're just trying to get minimal staffing so that we have people here dedicated for fire response.
Well, fire response is one thing. I mean, I think we do a lot more EMS, there's no question, right? Fire response is pretty minimal.
Correct.
And how often do we do fire response just solo? I mean, it's mutual aid on most of it, right?
Well,
There's a lot of mutual aid, correct?
We do a fair. I mean, there is a lot of mutual aid because, unfortunately, what the fire service has turned into. I mean, I guess some people may say that's good. I don't know. That's up to each individual. But there was just a post on Mabus, Illinois. I follow that fairly close, and they were talking about how Mabus is not what it was not designed for. It's not being used for what it was designed to be used for. Mabus was designed to be used for when Walmart starts on fire or the hospital in Weston starts on fire or something like that. And Mabus has morphed into, not just in Wisconsin, has been, okay, there's a mattress on fire in a bedroom and now you have to call a Mabus alarm because fire departments don't have enough staff. And some people might say, hey, that's good. I have extreme frustration. Now, granted that some of it, although not much, but some of that has been pointed at us, but it's been pointed more at Wausau. There's a local radio host that is just blasting a ton of incorrect information over the airwaves that people listen to and think is gospel, which drives me insane. But that individual's on the radio saying that, that they're saying people are waiting for ambulances and people are waiting for fire trucks, and he says that simply doesn't happen. Well, he's simply wrong. So then people listen to that. And I get it; it's a big ask, but I think the point of that is that this department has been understaffed for a long time. And I agree with you. What is the service level? What do you want? And I know Mr. Maloney brought that up probably a year ago that we're never gonna be able to answer 100% of our calls, right? And I mean, could we? Yes, but we would need 25 people on a day, which we all know is unrealistic, right? And yeah, I get what you're saying. We're at 93. Is 93 the number? Is 98 the number? What is the number? But we're calling for mutual aid a lot. It's over 100 times a year, which I think is a lot. And I think most fire chiefs would say that's too many times for an agency of our size. These extra staff, I mean, just rough numbers, it's impossible to know for sure because I don't know what call volume is going to do exactly and what times calls are going to come in. But I mean, I would say those mutual aid requests are probably going to drop by 75%. So in my mind, that means instead of 125 people waiting maybe 15 minutes for an ambulance, the number of people that are going to wait 15 minutes for an ambulance are probably going to drop to like 20. So I think that's the goal. I look at the responses that are greater than 10 minutes in both villages. The rural areas are tough. They're out there. They are what they are. But in my mind, if you live in a metro area like we're in, I think anything over 10 minutes for an ambulance is too long. I think that the general public, just like when the guy walked up to Eric at the fire and said, can you explain to me why I live 1.5 miles from the fire station, my house is burning down, because they expect the fire department to be there in 5 minutes with at least a handful of guys, right? And we're just not at that point. So,
and I understand. I mean, it's hard because you can bring up the extreme case, the one-offs here and there, that some of it we should have been able to cover, some of it you're not going to cover. So it's kind of hard to go with the one-offs, on the every once in a while, I guess. But I don't know. I just, I look at it. I mean, from a resident standpoint, you've heard. I've said it before. I'd rather spend my extra money on my homeowner's insurance that I have to pay. I'd rather send that to the village for a fire fee or whatever the hell it was. But as a resident too, I look at it. I mean, the numbers come out. Marathon County is anticipated to. We were just talking about earlier. Marathon County is shrinking in population. But for Rib Mountain, do we have enough police protection? I don't know. Does Rib Mountain need to add more people as a Rib Mountain resident? Do I need to worry about the sheriffs? And do I just put money somewhere else? I mean, I don't know. So I'll just shut up now. I'm done.
Any other
My
comments?
response to that is, you claim it's one-off, but how often are we getting double and triple tapped on a weekly basis?
Every day,
Sure.
almost.
We don't have the staff to cover that right now.
Right.
We don't. Period. I mean, that's.
Double calls.
I have been sitting in this room for I don't know how many years now, 3-4 years, and this comes up every year. I mean, you look at the number of calls that our firefighters are responding to per capita, I mean, compared to other departments. I know that I've seen that statistic up there numerous times. You know, you talk about the amount of bodies that you need to have on the scene within 10 minutes. We are falling short of that bar time and time and time again. And as a taxpayer that is represented by this service, I'm not comfortable continuing to move down.
What are you comfortable with? I mean, is 93% good enough? What do you want to see? Because we're not going to get that 98.
I understand that. We don't know what that percentage is going to be.
No, I mean, no, we don't know. But if you asked me to give you a good estimate, I would say 96 to 98 is probably pretty realistic. And I don't necessarily look at the 96 to 98% thing. Like I said, I look at the physical number of calls where it takes that ambulance more than 10 minutes to get there. Because like I said earlier, in my mind, that's not acceptable. And right now, our numbers are in the triple digits, and I don't think that's. Granted, I'm pretty biased.
Don't disagree. I'm not advocating we don't add anybody. I'm just like, do we need to jump right in with 6 more people? I mean, it's nine new staff in a year and a half. You're adding 33% to your staff. You know, you're increasing your staff by a third. That's big. And if we're doing what we're doing with what we've got, you know, does 6 people make it? And do we keep the costs down? I don't know. That's up for vote for the public, I guess.
Refresh my memory though. We're increasing staff by a third, but how many of those people? I mean, you've always got someone that's out for some reason, whether it's sick or FMLA. You've got people that are on vacation. So, without anybody being gone for the day, just refresh my memory. What does this take us to?
With the additional 6,
Yes,
that'll put us at 11.
but you're going to have
And then 12 with the intern.
what's minimum staffing?
We haven't officially decided that yet. It's probably going to be 9 or 8. I'm sorry,
8. Yeah,
8.
Right.
So 8 will be once we hit with the additional 6 minimum staffing will be 8. I would like it to be 9, but it's probably.
But again, that 8, I mean, I know we don't include the intern because the intern doesn't add staffing, but all of our interns are fire and EMS trained right now. So when we're at 8, we'll have the intern, we'll be at 9. That intern's going to staff an engine. And I mean, the other number that we're concerned about is when we did our ISO rating, our average bodies at a structure fire is less than 6. It's 5.9, and our average off-duty response has fallen from like it was 10 plus down to 1.5 or something average response. And those are the numbers that aren't sustainable when we're talking about the 44 fires that we went to this last year. You know, if we're averaging 6 people there, I mean, we can get lucky, and it's a dryer at Weston Pines that has a belt on fire, but when it's a mattress or a family or, you know, that's trapped or something like that, and we got 6 people, like, it's really hard to affect fire suppression and rescue when we're talking about having an average of 6 people on a fire scene. It's just not enough. And our mutual aid companies are, I mean, other than Riverside and portions of Weston, you know, our mutual aid companies can be 10 plus minutes away. And when fire grows, doubles in size every minute, and you're talking about people trapped in houses, like, we, over the years, have gotten lucky a number of times on these fires.
Can I ask a question? Previously, before the Rib Mountain meeting, it was going to be 3 and 3, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if was it going to be 2 separate referendums then? Like 1 year and then that year? Because I mean, this is kind of like the reason why we're here, because Rib Mountain does not have to go to referendum. So we're really here because Weston does. Does it really matter whether this board needs to commit to 6 today? I mean, it's really up to Weston to really go and do the referendum at 600. I mean, I guess that's why I'm questioning why this group would need to make that decision today.
I think it's hard to have an educational presentation though, where the board of the organization that you're providing the funding to wouldn't have taken a stance on the.
But they did though. They've committed to 6 eventually. They've already talked about it.
I don't
Just the
think we
only
have-
wrinkle in this whole thing is that it got suggested to go to July 1st. So I mean, this is the first I've heard that, Weston would have to go to 2 referendums versus just doing one at 600 to commit yourself, whether it's July 1st of 27 or it's 300 and 300, 3 and 3. Just throwing that out there, but I mean, and not necessarily with the dollar amount. That's what I'm questioning, why would this board have to make that commitment now if it's just about Weston making that commitment? Because why would you do 2 referendums versus just do 1 referendum? And really, should this board care about it? Because the funding issue is Weston's issue, and Rib Mountain's funding issue is Rib Mountain's issue. It's on how we get there. And then at some point in time, you can have that budget discussion of whether you start at July 1st or 3 January 1st, January 1st.
Galen and I can agree to disagree on that, just
Okay.
because I think it's important. This board's never made a motion to say the 3 or the 6. They did make a motion for the 9 with the SAFER grant.
Right.
And I think in the educational piece of it, it's important to put forth that the SAFER board feels also that the staffing is needed. I don't disagree on the fact that the dollar amount Weston does need to go to a referendum. The 3 and the 3 proposal is only because if we close that TIF in 2028, maybe we would need a full 3. And so, yes, it could mean the possibility of 2 separate referendums, but then that's a conversation with the board. Is the 3 more palatable? We add the 3 incrementally, and maybe we don't have to ask for 3 in 2027 for 2028. But the board has been very supportive of the 6, and they're both on the agenda.
But that's my point, is I'm a bit confused. Why should it be a board decision today, of this SAFER board, versus 3 being, because I thought, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought this group has decided that we wanted to kind of almost like made a motion to, I don't know if it's been a motion, but the conversation is that the plan is to go to, the additional 6.
I don't think there's ever been official action that I can recall.
So is today's action just on the 6, not necessarily when, but eventually? I mean, I don't know.
I think the biggest thing, Jamie requested to be put on the agenda, I think kind of what she covered already is that they're looking for some support from the actual SAFER governing body, that this body supports that additional staff. And the 6th thing, I'm actually glad Fred brought that up. I mean, I'm happy to do it either way, 3 at the beginning of 1 year, 3 at the beginning of the other year. The nice thing for us with the 6 people is we only have to run 1 interview process, 1 training academy. Training academies have become very labor intensive for us. We had 5 instructors at Midstate and Wisconsin Rapids all day today with the current academy. So it's just, there's a cost factor there too.
And you don't know what candidates you might lose out on.
That too,
Yeah.
yes.
I thought we had that meeting like a couple months ago having this conversation, I guess, of when.
I don't think there was official action though. I think the conversation was definitely happening.
There was a conversation, but
Yeah.
there wasn't an
Okay.
action.
All right.
Well, I remember that this board, I remember us talking about when we had that grant, it was 333. That's
Well,
my
no,
understanding.
the grant added 9 people,
Right.
but the way that the grant works is the way that the district is reimbursed by the grant. It's like hiring 3 and 3 and 3. It's the same cost. The grant, the way the funds are distributed, it would be the same cost to the municipalities as if you were adding 3, 3 and 3, but we get the 9 on day 1.
Yeah, the only
That's
thing
what the grant
the
is.
only thing that not getting the grant really changed is that we would have had 9 extra people today.
Yeah.
So paid it over.
But the municipalities would have paid for, basically it would have been the same as paying for 3, 3 and 3 over a 3-year process, because the federal government would have paid for the rest. So that the cost to the municipalities really doesn't change.
Are we off?
Because this is-
grant still a bit, are we still able to apply for a grant next year?
We could certainly apply. We discussed this with both Ben and Jessica last Thursday. I think, and Eric's got a good point, I think we have 2 big issues for the grant. Number 1, we have a massive fund balance, and we have to report all that information. I'm sure they're looking at our fund balance, and the reviewers are probably sitting around a table and saying, why don't they just use the $1.5 million they have sitting in the bank? So that's number 1. And number 2, I think the thing that really hurts us is they're probably saying we gave these guys a grant 5 years ago, and they said no. I think those two things combined really put us in a bad situation for approval. But if the board would like us to apply, we are more
Yeah,
than willing to do
apply
the work
again.
to apply.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to do that again. Mark, haven't heard from you yet.
I'm listening. I know we have two referendums that we're gonna be voting on Monday night, but I am for the 6th.
Okay.
We talked about 9, looked at the grant at 9. 9 gets us 3, 6 gets us 2, 3 gets us 1. When you realize what it actually affects a crew or a shift, 9 gets us 3. And that was that magical number that we talked about for actually several years now. So that's Brian.
And refresh, just like the grant, starting them in July, on July 1st, 27, it's the same fiscal impact, is it correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
So if you start all 6 then, instead of starting 3 at the beginning of the year and then 3 in 28,
Yep.
it's
Same
the cost
cost.
the same.
Dollars are the same.
Yeah.
And I would tend to agree that I think it would be better to bring all 6 people on at once I mean, just look at the dollars you're going to save and the time you're going to save in getting
Yeah.
folks trained and up to speed. That's a lot of work to get that done. And I don't know if anybody else, if there's any more discussion, but I just want to remind everybody that I was at that meeting in Rib Mountain, and the Rib Mountain board voted on 6 unanimously.
They did.
Support it.
They supported.
They
my
supported
report,
it.
And they said I just looked at the motion today. It was either July 1st or 3 and 3.
They did say either way, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even though it's going to be a hard sell, I think for the increase for my residents, taxpayers, we just got plenty of questions on our revalue. So I will vote for it because I don't want to be one of those politicians that would say that I was for it before I was against it. All right? My board voted for it. All right? So the motion was by Maloney, seconded by,
No, it was by me.
pardon?
It was by me.
Oh, you made the motion?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Can I,
So motion by Cronin, seconded by Maloney.
can I request a roll call on this, please? A roll call vote.
Well, you can, sure. Okay, roll call vote. All right. Mr. Maloney,
Yes.
Mr. Cronin,
Yes.
Mr. Opel, yes. Mr. Colden?
No.
Okay. 3-1. And the motion passes. Okay, we're down to end of the year budget review.
Okay, so that is in your packet. We'll talk about the expenses first. So if you look at page 4 of the actual budget, I'm not sure which page it is in the entire packet, but about 3/4 of the way through. We have a balance of $189,167 of unexpended funds yet. Share, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a half a payroll that has to come out of there, which is
I believe that's
approximately $42,000 is a half of a payroll. So that leaves us, roughly 145. And then there's a few 2025 expenses that need to be paid out of the 2025 budget yet. So I would say that there should be approximately $100,000 in unexpended revenue, unexpended budget money from 2025. Little flex in there yet. I'm gonna try to tie up 2025 expenses either late this week or early next week. We usually try to wait till right around the 15th, so we're right there.
Did Jessica and Ben talk about they would bring back at a future meeting a motion to put any excess into capital?
Yes,
again?
yep, and we're gonna talk about that when we see where we're sitting exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, I thought it was a little premature to bring tonight, so. And then as far as revenue, we are at, gotta get to the right page here, bear with me. We're at about $237,000, $238,000 actually over on revenue. However, I want to caution the board is that you have to remember that we were running well behind in 2024 on EMS revenue because of the issues with EMSMC. That got caught up during 2025, so those numbers are artificially high. Okay, so it's really hard to track how much they're artificially high, but they are, because there's 2024 money that came in 2025. If you remember, we were behind last year, so we got caught up this year. So overall,
24 money, 24 money is in 25, correct?
yes, some 2024 EMS money is in 2025. Yep.
Okay.
We got some fairly large checks from EMSMC primarily in the first quarter of 25 that were from 2024 runs because they were behind. The new billing company is doing well. Myself, Sharon, and Eric met with them. Well, I'll talk about that in our chief's report, my chief's report actually. But otherwise, as far as budget goes, we do have some lines that are over budget. We had a horrible fourth quarter on vehicle repair. We had our tender, which needed multiple different things, had some leaks and an exhaust leak and some oil leaks and things like that that had to be fixed. And then we had 2 ambulances. I've never had this happen before. We had 2 ambulances that had pretty significant exhaust leaks. One we had to take out of service because the cab was full of carbon monoxide. Our alarms were going off. And they were both expensive to fix. One of them, they had to pull the heads off of the engine because all the studs broke off inside the heads. So that repair alone was almost $7,500. And then we had a couple tires that had to be replaced on vehicles at the end of the year here. November, December. Oh, and then we had a rear end go out on an ambulance also. And of course, it's the ambulance that we're selling. We needed it to survive. It made it 150,000 miles. I needed about 500 more miles out of it. Didn't happen. No, the rear end of the truck went out.
Oh,
The actual-
I meant it got rear-ended.
Yeah, I was actually on an ambulance call with one of our captains, and we were trying to merge onto the highway, and there were some very poor noises coming from it. So the repair the shop did to it, although it was fine, they didn't repair the whole rear end. They replaced some bearings, and they said it'll be good for a while. So it saved us a little bit of money at least.
How long of a warranty do we typically get on those? I know some of them we've purchased used, and I know some have been purchased. Some of the chassis have been purchased brand new.
The ambulances are new. In the warranty, it depends. Like powertrain is 5-year, 100,000 miles, and then it's like a 3-year, 36 bumper to bumper.
So I presume that these were out of warranty.
They were out of warranty. We did have a transmission go out on this ambulance here pretty early on, and we got it like 20,000 miles or something. They covered that under warranty.
The inverters were all covered under warranty.
Then we had some inverter issues; those were covered under warranty too.
The
And we
truck
had paint
issues were warranted.
And we had paint issues
Yeah.
on one truck; those were covered under warranty. So,
Okay.
yep. What else was I going to talk about? Employee health tests, again, we're quite a bit over there. We hired a fair amount of people in 2025. And hiring people, to be blunt, it's gotten expensive. It's about $1,000 in psychological and medical health testing for every employee that we bring on. What else? Was there any other big ones? I don't know if anybody's got any questions. Obviously, there will be some minor changes in some of these budget lines yet because there are some, like I said, a few 2025 costs left. Oh yeah, if you look at the wages, you'll see one budget line is way over. It's the part-time wages. We're at 277%. And then the hourly regular wages are well under. There's just a bookkeeping error there. Jessica's working on getting that fixed, I believe.
Yes.
There was an employee, or was it 1 or 2 employees?
Two.
There were 2 employees that were part-time employees here, and then they were hired as full-time employees, but they were continued to be in the accounting system. They were left as part-time, so it threw that wage number way off. So that'll get fixed.
Okay, no questions? Do we need an attorney for anything?
I sure hope not.
Okay. Okay, remarks from the board. Oh no, report of the fire chief.
All right, so I got a couple things. Like I started talking about, myself, Sharon, Eric met with our billing company. They're doing a good job. They like we had talked about when we brought them on. There's a couple things that they're not as good at with EMSMC because they don't have as many resources. Like there was a HIPAA form that we needed some work done on, and they got it done. I mean, that's something that EMSMC has in their files, and they probably could have sent me in 5 minutes. The other company got it done, but it took 3 or 4 days. Not a big deal. But as far as what we actually use them for, they're doing a good job with revenue. They're right where we want them to be. I think we're averaging right at 120-ish a month, 120,000 a month. So we're pretty much on target for where we need to be. We did increase billing a little bit for next year. If you guys remember that, we did that probably 3 months ago or whatever when we did our fee schedule. So that, again, a lot of those revenues are fixed by Medicare, Medicaid, so it's not going to be a windfall of money by any means, but we'll get a little bit more out of that. And then we're still working on GEMT stuff. We have a meeting with GEMT tomorrow for 2025. So we'll put that, we'll put all the 2025 data in whenever they tell us to. I'm sure we'll go over that tomorrow, and then we'll get that money at the end of the year. There was one other thing I was going to talk about, and now I we anticipate, and the union president's in the room, but we anticipate that we'll probably negotiate with the union here fairly soon. Glenn and I spoke verbally about that just a little bit here recently, but we'll officially probably start on that, I would say Q1 probably of 2026. I got to get caught up on the year. I always have to think. The question I have for the board, and I don't know if you gentlemen would like me to put this as an official agenda item or if we just want to talk about it. I am requesting that negotiations are done by myself, Eric, and our battalion chiefs, and then final approval will come back to this body before we officially agree. I think that we're more than capable of doing that without an attorney. If there are legal issues or questions that come up or things like that, we can certainly involve Dean if we need to, but I don't think there's going to be anything that needs that.
I assume the union will not have an attorney there either?
No, we will not.
They didn't have an attorney for the initial negotiations.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, if there's anything like that comes up, I'm sure both sides would agree that an attorney should look at it.
Kind of like spy versus spy, attorney versus
Yeah.
But my personal opinion, I don't know how Glenn feels, but I think we get more done and things are a little more happy when those people are not in the room.
And there's less bills to pay.
And there's
significantly
less bills to pay. That was not cheap last year.
Okay.
So I think we get along well, and I think things will go
good.
just fine. So,
Good.
other than that, we trained all day today at Midstate, Wisconsin Rapids. I just want to, I guess, publicly thank Midstate Tech College. They allowed us to use their burn facility at their Wisconsin Rapids campus today for a very, very, very small amount of money. We don't have any place to do any live fire training at the moment. So we took our 5 recruits down there and we were able to do several different evolutions. And when Eric and I left to come back for the meeting, they were still doing a little bit of training on their towers. So they have a nice place down there. It worked out very well.
There's a Facebook posting if you want to see some pictures from the training today.
And we do have the 5 new people obviously starting, both full-time and part-time. And then there's a couple of our interns were in there because, like Eric said earlier, they're done with their fire training now, so we still ran them through our own academy just to do things the way that we do it. So I think that's all I have.
Were they hired though, or when did they finish?
Who's the interns?
Yeah.
They finish June of 2027.
They just finished their fire classes.
It's a 2-year intern. Yep. So they're going to be starting paramedic on the 27th. So.
Anytime there's new people and it works with the meeting, can they come and introduce themselves?
Sure.
Yeah, we can bring them in. They'll be on shift in February, so we can bring them here.
We had them here.
The interns.
Yeah, the interns were here. So the 2 new employees, one
Staff, okay. got
yeah,
it.
the 2 new full-time staff. One lives in Montello. I keep saying that wrong. And the other one actually is from Crystal Lake, Illinois. He moved. He lives in Stevens Point. But they'll be on shift in February, and we'll get them in here for a meeting. Just right now, they both have some. It's a lot of travel we're asking of them at the point right now.
Their last 2 weeks have been quite demanding.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
Okay. Any more questions for the chief? All right, report of the deputy chief.
So there's several reports in there from me from the last couple of meetings. You can take a look at those. Just some highlights. We did have a resignation in December. One of our engineers resigned. That created an additional opening, so we actually had two. Well, we had 4 total full-time instead of just the 3 start in January here. 2 of them were internals, so they didn't have to onboard, so they're just on shift already. The other 2, the one filling in for that engineer spot, and then the other one, they're onboarding with a part-timer and the interns. We did run a promotional process, and that'll be in my January report, because we ran that promotional process January 2nd. Other than that, all the interns are firefighter and EMT. The paramedic cohort starts on the 27th with Callie, Josh, and I teaching that. That's in-house through NTC. As you look through the reports, you can see there are a number of structure fires that we're going to. I feel like that's increased quite a bit over the last couple of years. I know if you look through those, there's a lot of mutual aid in there. We put an initial posting of our final numbers on Facebook, but that doesn't tell the whole picture. It's really hard to track. I mean, Josh and I'm confident when I say that we called for mutual aid 150 to 175 times last year. But just the tracking of that is a little bit difficult because of the way that
We can't track
the
the
computer systems work.
We can't track the calls that we don't respond to at all. So calls that we send the rescue truck to and Wausau or Riverside come with an ambulance, we can track those because we have a record because the rescue went. The calls that we didn't respond to at all because we don't have anybody available, we don't have, those aren't tracked. So
You basically almost just have to hear the page and then put a tally mark on it.
Yeah, and
on a
we've
piece of
tried to
paper.
do that in the past. It's just not accurate. So.
I'm gonna look at the software system and see if there's a better way, because our new software system, the data out of that is a lot better. A couple other things to note: we got notification last week or the week before that we did receive a Firehouse Subs grant, so I'll be reporting on that in more detail in the January report. So we're pretty happy about that. The way that grant works is you submit a invoice, not an invoice.
We submit a request.
Submit a request, but they purchase the equipment and then donate the equipment. Where like every other grant there is, they give you money and then you purchase what you're asking for. But they actually purchase the equipment. So the letter we got said we'll get some notification in February, and then they got to purchase the equipment. So maybe March. It takes a couple of months. And then there was one other thing I was going to point out that I'm losing right now. But anyway, our annual report should be submitted in February.
Is there something we can share why the engineer resigned? Is there an exit interview that we did, or?
Well,
Probably, I don't want to discuss it in a public meeting.
yeah.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Good enough. All right, we're on to the remarks from the board directors on the next meeting and things to be maybe added to the agenda, items of concern. Next meeting, if it is the second Tuesday of next month, I will not be here.
Okay.
That would be February 10th.
Is everybody else able to make it, just so we kind of know ahead of time if we have a quorum?
I should be good.
Yeah, I should be good too.
Mark, will you be?
I'll be good.
Okay.
Okay. All right, good. Any agenda items that anybody would like to maybe talk about? Or not agenda items, but items to bring to the agenda. All right, are we going in a closed session?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, we're down to item G. Consideration of a motion to adjourn the closed session pursuant with Wisconsin Statute 19.81, Parent 1, Parent C, for considering employment promotion,
Text Andy.
compensation, or performance evaluation data from public employees over which governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. To wit, 2025 annual review of the fire chief and the that would be it. I need a motion. I'll entertain a motion to go to closed session.
I'll make a motion to go to a closed session.
I will second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Mr. Maloney?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Mr. Cronin?
Yes.
You want me?
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Good luck, Mark.
Welcome to stay if the board's
okay, I'm okay.
No. You want to stay on?
I always say, you can stay too.
I kicked everybody else out.
For closed session, you want to stay on?
It's up to the board, you know, concerning, it's up to the board if you want to let me stay on, not be in there.
I'm fine.
Yeah, you can stay on.
I'm fine.
Okay. So Mr. Cronin's and I?
Yep.
Mr. Colvin?
Okay.
And Mr. Opels and I, we are now in closed session. Let the fun begin.